Hello everyone, welcome to this video, and today we're going to be making a 3D illusion lamp. So here I have examples of 3D illusion lamps. I just did a quick Google search. You could see a few examples. So this is the general idea. You have a piece of acrylic sitting on an LED light, little circular box, and that shines the light up into the engraving and it projects this 3D illusion-like image. So to get this LED light box, I did a Amazon search for LED base light for acrylic. That's one of their suggested searches, and these came up. So I purchased the EEE kit. I'm sure they all work just fine. But yeah, they range from, for a 2-pack, $13, and I saw single packs on here for about $8 to $9. Here's one for $11. So for our actual vector drawing, I didn't draw my vector. I actually bought it from this website called 3b-studio.com. If you hover over their shop tab and go down to the 3D illusion section, they have all of these different examples of 3D vectors that we can carve into our design. I am using a Jeep Renegade 3D illusion lamp file. This is the exact file that I downloaded. Now let's launch Vectric and start our project. Let's get right into that. We're going to create a new file, and it has my settings here. So I measured my stock piece of acrylic material to determine the actual job size that I'm going to be working with. So it is 9.5 inches by 6 inches height. What you're going to want to do is make sure that your thickness of your acrylic piece can actually fit into the width of that base that you have, that LED base. Of course, if the thickness of your acrylic part is bigger than what the base can hold thickness-wise, then it's not going to fit. So that's the thickness I have, and I measured my LED box already, so I know that will work. Our material surface, so this has to do with the top or bottom of your material. For the acrylic, I'm using the material surface. I'm going to use the center XY datum position for this project. Now to import our vector, what I'm going to do is go under File Operations and click this Import Vectors button. Select your file. I have a DXF, which if you purchase a file from that website as well, instead of just design your own vector, this is how you're going to do it as well. I'm going to import that DXF, and what might happen, like you can see here, is it's scaled way too big for our material. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the whole thing, and we're going to pull that size way down, and then I'm going to align it to our material. We're still going to be too big here. That looks much better. So I'm going to make sure it's aligned side to side, but I'm actually going to leave a gap underneath, because this is where we're going to add a rectangle-like piece that's going to set into that LED base that we have. So to create that part, we're going to need to measure the LED base, and then we can design that rectangular piece that's going to be connected to the outside vector here. So to show you how that will work, the width after I measured is 3.09 inches on the X, and then the depth that we're going to go down into the base is 0.55, so just over a ½ inch. I'm going to create that. You can see it popped up right in this corner here. So I'm going to drag it onto this, then I'm going to center it again to the material. Now that we drew our rectangular piece, select this interactive trim tool. So it's shaped like the scissor icon, and I'm going to get rid of the pieces in the middle here, the two lines that we were dealing with. And now when we click this, it auto-linked this outside vector to this new rectangular offset piece that is going to sit into our LED base. One thing I'm going to explain, and this is something that I've learned from doing a few of these LED illumination lamps, is that they actually come out much better if you engrave and do your scratching onto the back side of the panel. So to flip the project, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight all of the vector lines. We're going to go to Mirror Selected Objects, flip it horizontally. Now that we have the vectors flipped, that was the last step in our design. So now we're just going to be focusing on toolpathing. So to start our toolpathing, we're going to go to this tab on the right hand side of our Vectric screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the engraving toolpathing first. So I'm going to highlight everything on the inside, and that just happened to work out perfectly. But let's say you did highlight everything in the first place. All you're going to do is hold down Shift and click the outside vector line, because remember, we're only going to be engraving the inside of our design. We don't need to engrave the cutout part of our design. So once we have the inside vectors selected, we're going to go to this quick engraving toolpath here. And then here, these are the settings by default, and they're, for the most part, pretty good. We have a diameter of our part, of our engraving point is set at 3 millimeters. The angle is a 90-degree angle, and that will work for our engraving tip. The only thing that we're going to want to be sure we change is where it says spindle speed. We're going to put that to 0, because the engraving point does not have, it does not spin, rotate. It's actually just putting force down on the acrylic piece and engraving as the CNC moves. So we need no RPM movement there. So we'll change that, we'll save that. Depth or pressure, this is how much pressure it's going to be putting down into the material past your Z point. So I usually do 0.05, so 50 thousandths. Going to hit outline, that's perfect because we're going to be doing it on the line. We're going to be engraving on the line. Quick engraving 1, that's a good name for it. Make sure you select the right post processor for your machine. So I'm going to be using a Stepcraft, so I'm going to select Stepcraft UC CNC arcs millimeters. Then I'm going to calculate that, and that looks perfect. And then this toolpath is ready to go, so I'm going to save this toolpath. So now you have the one toolpath saved. Now we need to work and make the toolpathing for the outside cutout. So we're going to select the outside vector line. Let's go to Profile Toolpath. And then here we're going to select the tooling that we're using for this cutout. So let's select the correct tool. The tool I'm going to be using today is it's an end mill. So here's the settings for the tool that I'm going to be using. It's an 1/8 inch end mill, 2 flute. We don't have to really worry about pass depth or step over because we're going to set that here. We have 12,000 RPM for the speed, 30 millimeters a second speed rate or feed rate, and a 15 millimeter per second plunge rate. That will work. So let's apply that. Select that tool. Now that we have our tool selected, let's make sure we're going to the right cut depth. So if we remember from when we started this file, our total depth of our material is 0.14. I'm going to go slightly deeper because I want to make sure it cuts out nice across the entire profile of this piece. And remember that if your bed is slightly offset on one side of your material versus the other, going a little bit deeper is never a bad idea. You just have to remember to use a spoil board or sacrificial board to cut down into. And I'll show you that process when we actually go to set up our material. So now that I have the cut depth set, have our tool selected, it's setting for 3 passes. For the machining vectors, I'm going to cut outside the line with a 0.01 inch offset and then do a separate last pass coming in and cleaning up that remaining distance in the reverse direction. So that last pass, it's going to do 2 cuts around the material going in a counterclockwise direction, and then it's going to come back for the last pass in a clockwise position and clean up that last little bit, and it's going to leave a really nice finish on that acrylic piece. Once we have that set up, I am actually ready to save this toolpath. So again, scroll down. Remember, it's going to warn us that our material thickness is less than the maximum cut depth, so we're going to need to make sure that we have a piece of wood or sacrificial spoil board underneath this acrylic piece when we actually do cut it out. So I'm calculating that toolpath. Here's what it looks like. Let's flip this around. This is the right side. This is the cut side of the project. So if we look at our engraving toolpaths, that's there, and then let's preview all. Let's preview all of these toolpaths and get rid of the waste. So this is what it's going to look like. It's a little hard to see in this demonstration. Let's use a solid color, make this white, fill it with a black. There we go. You can kind of get a better idea of what that looks like. And remember, this is reverse, this is backwards. But in acrylic, since acrylic is clear, when we flip this project, you're going to see all of those vector cut lines, engraved lines, perfectly fine through here. It's going to have a very nice shine effect from the back of the material. It's actually going to look much nicer than if you just engraved it on the front. Now let's run over to the machine and let's get this set up. So once we have our engraving point mounted onto our machine and we're ready to go, the first thing that we're going to have to think about is how we're going to mount our acrylic piece onto our sacrificial board. So I'm going to be using this double-sided tape, and I'll drop a link down in the video description explaining where to get it and what it is, but basically it's just a two-sided, very sticky and tacky tape that will absolutely secure your acrylic piece. So here, remember, we set our X and Y datum position for the middle. So along our Y and X axes, you can see I'm finding the center piece, homing each, setting each of these axes to 0 accordingly, and then that brings us to our exact 0 for our datum position, our X, Y, 0. Here, we're setting our Z-axis 0 position, which is the top of the material. So I'm using the paper technique to find the very top of the material, and then I'm setting my 0 position there. Next, we're going to load in our file. A little trick I like to do is I like to load in the outside perimeter cut so that I can see where our machine is going to run at the maximum edges of our material. And then here you can actually see me running the machine to all of the sides of that acrylic to make sure I'm within our job space and I'm not exceeding that material piece we have. Everything should have already been double checked in Vectric, but I like doing that last triple check when I'm actually physically set up on the machine. Once we do that, we can load in our vector file to engrave with the engraving point and hit start. Thanks for watching, and make sure that you do go and check the video description to see all of the different tools that I use to help me run this project.